Okay, so for problem number 52, it says the length of a rectangle is 8 inches more than the width. I'm just going to sketch a little rectangle here. And we'll call the width x because we don't know what it is. And it says that the length is 8 inches more, or x plus 8. All right, so then it says if 4 inches are taken away from the length and added to the width, so if I say 8 plus -4, and then I add that, in other words, I'm going to subtract 4 from the length and add it to the width. It says if 4 inches are taken from the length and added to the width, then the figure becomes a square, which is true because this actually becomes x plus 4. And the area is 275.56 square inches. What are the dimensions of the original figure? Okay, so this is the original figure. Okay, and what they tell us is that this becomes a square because we take away 4 here and we add 4 here, and the area of the square, which is equal to L squared, is equal to x plus 4 squared. That area was 256, oh, I apologize, 275.56 is equal to this stuff here. So we got to find x, and then when we're done with x, we're going to plug that right back into the original dimensions, okay? So it's probably going to be a quadratic, and then we're going to solve using the quadratic formula. So if I expand that out, I get x squared plus 2 times 4 times x plus 16, or 4 squared. So I get x squared plus 8x plus 16 is equal to 275.56. Now what I need to do is I need to subtract 275.56 from both sides. These will cancel, and I get 0 is equal to x squared plus 8x. So let's fire up this calculator here. And 16 minus 275.56 is equal to negative 259.56. Okay, well I need to know what x is. Now, clearly, I can't factor that. There's no way that I could factor that and make it work, so I'm going to have to use the quadratic formula, knowing that a is equal to 1, b is equal to 8, and, well, it's a little messy, but c is equal to negative 259.56. So remember that the quadratic formula is equal to, x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. That means x is equal to negative 8 plus or minus 8 squared minus 4 times a times negative 259. Why did I put a decimal there? 2. Cover that up a little bit. That's a funny looking 2. 5, 6. All over 2 times 1, which is 1. So here's where we're at. Got to solve this. Well, that gives me x is equal to negative 8 plus or minus the square root of this. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. This is 8 squared, which is 64. And then I'm going to multiply my number here by 4. And it becomes a positive now, so I end up with 64, and the negative times the negative is a positive, so that becomes a positive 1038.24, or 4, not 5. So I'm going to add those up. 64 plus 1038.24. So this number now becomes 110224 all over 2. Well, let's take the square root of that. And I get 33.2. So I got x is equal to negative 8 plus or minus 33.2 divided by 2. Now if I separate this, I've got negative 8 minus 33.2 divided by 2, and negative 8 plus 32, or 33.2, all divided by 2. So let's do the math. If I take 8 plus 33.2, oops, I forgot my negative sign, so I'm just going to multiply that by negative 1. So 41.2 divided by 2 is negative 20. So this right here becomes negative 20.6. And then on the bottom here, I've got negative 8 plus 33.2. And then divide by 2, 12.6. Now I did a lot of work to get what x was. Now I've got two possibilities for x. Remember, these are dimensions on a box. Mathematically, I've got a negative number and a positive number. Well, I can't have a negative dimension, so this is like an extraneous solution, sort of. And so we're going to use the 12.6. Well, what are we going to use that for? Remember, the question asked us to figure out the original dimensions. So the original dimension was going to be 12.6 and then 12.6 plus 8, or 20.6. And so D is the correct answer, I think. So let's double check and see. What question was that? That was like 52. Man, that's really high up there. So we'll go all the way to 52. Okay. D. Boom. Correct. That is the correct answer.